Hey, Jason.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm good. I heard we had a super killer dude.
That's right, Dudette this time. Actually, we're talking about mega agency owner secrets with the Queen Dudette, Stephanie Hamilton. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's get this thing going.
Boom.
Welcome to the Insurance Dudes, a podcast for insurance agency owners, helping us to think of different ways to optimize our business and our lives.
Is that dramatic?
It is dramatic.
Is that good?
That's dramatic.
We like to see the look on the faces.
I just laughed.
Yeah.
I did not pass.
It encourages people to move off iTunes and then go also watch the video on YouTube.
You should have warned me. I could have done it. Oh, that's great.
No, we need to get the guest's reaction.
Oh, okay.
And it's usually about the same.
Yeah.
Yours
Looking
was-
like, where are these crazy people at?
Well, I think you naturally will gravitate towards looking at his wall and see all the...
Yeah. What is all of that?
It's my teenage schoolroom poster. Not
Oh
really.
my God, you have Pee Wee Herman on your wall.
Yes. Bill and Ted's, Captain EO.
Is that Hulk Hogan?
That is, with the Ultimate Warrior.
Okay,
Were you a
great.
wrestling
You gotta do
fan?
better. I'm sorry.
And yes, this is my office. At
Yeah.
work, not at home.
Yeah, it's back there. That's what you get to look at on mine. Is,
No, you got to do better. Come on. You got to get some posters.
wait, I can do something. Hold on. Let's see how quickly I can work.
You have to
Oh
move fast.
no, I'm under the gun here. How about that?
Now he's in San Francisco.
Or
No, the posters are still better.
space.
I only have these little hands. Oh, that's all I got for
There
you.
you go. Stephanie,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on.
Thanks, I'm
Hamilton.
excited.
Insurance Dudette.
Yeah.
Do what?
You're
Dudette.
Dudette.
Oh, okay. I got it. I can be that. I'm good.
We don't have many insurance dudettes, so this is great.
I can be the dudette, I guess.
So how's it
Have you
going? You're over at Eric's. You're over at
Yeah, I'm
Eric's.
actually up here this week. Yeah, I got in at 3:30 yesterday morning, and I fly back out tonight.
So do you still live in Alabama?
Mhm. Yeah.
Are you going to move to Ohio?
No,
Wow.
it's
So-
cold.
So how's that going to work?
I just do everything remotely and do Zoom chats with the team.
Okay.
So no, I don't do cold.
Right. Well, remote. I mean, it's the future.
That's right. That's right.
So tell us a little bit, for somebody that doesn't know you or anything. Tell us a little bit about your background, your history, what got you in the insurance business, and what you do now.
All right. So let's see. I got in the insurance business. I'm going to tell my age here, and I'm not real excited about it. Probably about 17 years ago. And I actually started out selling life and health insurance. And yeah, one of the guys I went to high school with, he was like, "You got to try this." And I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything worthwhile now, so I might as well. And that's how I started, actually. So I started, no, right? No, just take it on a whim. It's fine. And this is where I landed. So I started out doing, just life and health, doing some group benefit enrollments and stuff like that. And then I actually went to Nationwide for a while and worked there for a little while. And it was actually going really good. But they were going more to an independent style agency. And I like the whole like exclusive type deal where you're not having to learn like 15 different agents, like 15 different products for people. So I actually went to an Allstate agency, and I stayed with him for probably a year and a half, 2 years. And then I actually bought that agency from him. And I actually was an agency owner for a little over 5 years. And, had kids, husband's a police officer, so I was like, dude, this is just too much. Like, I have little bitty babies, I'm on my own agency. I was like, this is overwhelming and you're never home. So, so I actually sold it and went to work for a mega agency. And I was there a little over 3.5 years. And I was actually the sales trainer, coach, door changer, whatever you want to call me for that day. And I actually helped them build a coaching and training program. And I just actually wanted to do a little more and kind of go out and venture out a little on my own and do a little of my own thing every once in a while. So now I'm actually working remotely in Ohio. So I like it. It's fun. This is actually my second week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
Cool. So what, I mean, that's a big change.
Yeah.
How is it working remotely?
You know, what's funny is, they see like as much as you see of me. So I can have on a cute shirt, my hair can be fixed, and I can have on shorts and flip flops. And it's great. I mean, is it better than that?
Yeah. Pajama pants, super baggy pajama pants.
Yeah. I mean, you're not saying anything else, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's what I do normally at the office.
Right. Well, I came from an environment that was super non-casual, like very business, very, uppity kind of deal. So it was definitely a big change for me to be able to wear my shorts to work.
Yeah. Well, even when you're there at Eric's, I mean, I'm under the impression there's foosball tables and beanbags and all
Dude,
kinds
there's a swing. So he took a picture of me in this swing earlier with my feet propped up on a table. And I was like, that's so professional, Eric. I was like, we don't post that anywhere.
So with all the environments that you've been in, I'm curious because I freaking hate collars. I don't like wearing suits. Like, I loathe wearing suits. Anybody that knows me is like, Jason,
he's not wearing one.
No. Like a tie, I feel like it's a noose.
Right.
So I hate that. But environment-wise, pros, cons, what do you feel? What kind of being in such a conservative environment, and then all your experience, pros and cons, what do you think?
Moving to a fun environment.
I'm kind of 50-50 actually. I like the whole super conservative environment because it kind of ups people's game a little. Just because they, I feel like when they dress for success, it definitely kind of ups their game a little. Yeah. Plus, in that environment also, there were a lot of walk-in customers. So I mean, it was a little different, now somebody walking in my house that I have to talk to. So I'm just face-to-face with them, and that's all they see. But like when I came up here, Eric was like, oh my God, like you have heels on and like dress pants and you're going to be overdressed. And I'm like, this is what I'm used to. I don't know what else to wear. So, I mean, I like both ways. I think it depends on where you are and kind of what environment you're in. It all works. So
has your role been consistently the same through the last agency, the current one, and how has that changed? What exactly do you do? How do you implement?
Yes, I would say it is. It's going to be a lot the same. I was basically somewhat running the other agency, and that's kind of what I'm going to be doing here. A lot of. I'm trying to take as much off of his plate. I told him my main goal for him was to sit on his back porch and drink beer if that's what he wanted to do. That is the goal for not necessarily him, but for me. If he needs to take off, I don't want him having to check emails. I don't want him having to wonder what's going on. Like all he's doing is seeing emails come through that say somebody got a sale. Unless the office is on fire, I don't want him to be concerned about it. So that's my goal for this agency. And that's, where we were at the last agency. I kind of feel like we had arrived, so to speak, at the last agency, and it was challenging, but in different ways. So this is back to kind of the challenge I like getting everybody up to speed, getting everybody where they need to be on their goals. Because, being a quote scratch agency versus a mega agency, they have different challenges. And actually these challenges fit better for my personality. They just, not that there's anything wrong with the megas. It just, I like the challenge of helping somebody go from nothing to a mega. That's fun to me. I like that. Right. I like that part of it.
And that's fun for them too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Craig, sorry. I steamrolled you.
No, you're the steamroller. If you were a wrestler, your wrestling name would be the steamroller.
Maybe it should be.
You should get you an outfit and make you a poster.
Ah, like one of those onesie outfits, right? With the
yes. And it has like steamroller on it. Yeah, you got to get one.
Small dude too. It would be funny.
Most agencies in growth mode, right? Being at the front end, being in the growth cycle of a business, where before you were at probably mature, right? It was maintain, not really grow, because when you have a book of that magnitude, all these megas, there isn't a lot of growth, right? Because
we did grow a lot, but we're required to grow a lot.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So when you're is the formula different for a startup and how to manage those people, because that's what you're doing. You're managing the people and the processes. Is it and how is it different?
No, honestly, I don't think it's different. Okay. I'm using the same managing techniques, the same processes. It is on a smaller scale. So, some of it I'm kind of having to hold off implementing yet because we're just not there yet. But a lot of it is the same. I mean, people managing, I think, is probably the most difficult in any agency you go to. Everybody struggles with that. You just have to, you have to hold them accountable, and that's the same everywhere. People are going to do what you expect of them, and they're not going to do anymore. And so you just have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you get what you need out of them. But honestly, everybody here, and I mean, they've been here for 18 months. So me coming in as the new girl it has not been challenging. And I was kind of expecting that. Everybody's kind of just open armed and jumped right on board. And we're writing more than they ever have. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Talk about that. So what did you do to increase that? And what do you do to push people?
So I tell them it has a lot to do with the Southern charm. We somehow have a way of doing that. I don't really know how that works. But no, I think it was more anything, agency owners have a lot on their plate as far as, just running the business. And they don't have a lot of time to hold people accountable because they're doing other things, trying to make this work or that work and trying to figure out, okay, well, these leads are working, these are not working. So it's difficult on their level to try to come in there and go, okay, why are you not making phone calls? Okay, why are you not doing it this way? They don't have a lot of time for that. People say all day, well, they can make time. Well, there's only so many hours in the day. So somebody like me can come in, and especially coming from where I've been and gotten the training that I have, I can just come in and take over. And they don't have to, they can just kind of relinquish that control and say, okay, look, she knows what she's doing. I don't really have to worry about it. And just kind of hands off and kind of watch it develop. We've made some, even in 2 weeks, we're going to make some tweaks to things that they're doing. And I have to make tweaks to myself because I'm working with a totally different crew that's in a totally different environment than I've ever been in, never been to Ohio. So, it's just, I'm used to working with these little Southern girls that are totally different. So, even I have to make changes to myself and how I react to things and how I, manage them because it's just different. But it's a lot of fun. I'm liking it so far.
Nice. And to get a little bit more granular, like what is your process? Like, what are we talking about? What are some tangible daily things that we can implement from, So what does that look like?
So, I think the biggest thing for most people is going to be listening to phone calls. A lot of people don't do that, now when I'm here, like yesterday and today, I'm kind of listening to them live. I'm sitting right in there with them and they're in an open room. So I can kind of, unless they're both like in deep conversations at the same time, I can pretty much listen to every phone conversation they're having. So I can either chat them if I don't want to, walk over and go, oh my God, don't do that. I can kind of chat them and say, hey, look, try this. I mean, we just actually, I have one that she struggles a tad with closing like right on the spot. She's just a little nervous about it. And so I'm chatting her going, close him now. And so we closed the deal. It's just, and sometimes I'll listen live to them without them knowing. I never talk to them while we're live because I don't want to make them nervous and I don't want them to mess up what they're doing. But I'll listen, then I'll come back to them and say, hey, look, why don't you try this next time? Or let's try this. That's probably the biggest thing I do, honestly. And then everybody all day knows where we're at. So from the first policy or before we even sell the first policy for the day, I know exactly what we need every single day. So from the first policy that's sold, we do basically a countdown all day. Okay, now we need this much more. Now we need this much more. So I'm kind of, I guess I call it in your face, but not really like aggressively in your face. They said they were scared of me and I was like, why? I'm nice. But it's kind of, it's everybody. I need everybody to be a team player and everybody to know, where we got to go and what we got to do to get there. So if it's out there all day, every day, it's going to be kind of ingrained in them to know where we have to go. And that's important to me because I can know, Eric can know, but if the whole team doesn't know like the big picture and where we're trying to go, we're not going to get there. So those are the biggest things to me though, is keeping it top of mind for everybody and then listening to phone calls.
Yeah, reps or LSPs or really anywhere in life, right? If you're in sports or whatever, if there isn't somebody there to give outside perspective, it's gonna, if it starts going south, it's just gonna keep, the ship just starts to turn. So it's I think that listening to calls, replaying the calls, and then sitting down and going over those calls is the most valuable activity that you can do as either agency manager or agency owner, right? Because that's where they learn. Because they're doing, like we can watch YouTube videos about sales, we can watch all these things that are out there, but unless we actually are taking action, this is the theme of the day. You're our fourth, and every single one of these we've been talking about taking action. You're actually in there, right?
Right.
It's just remarkable. And I don't know that there's a question there. I'm just agreeing with the.
So how did you get into that role? Was that something that you created? Was that something that was taught to you?
So I guess, coming from an agency owner, when I started at the old agency, I started out in sales. And so basically I had to kind of prove myself. And I kind of held myself to a different standard, I guess, because I had owned an agency, like expected more of me they would anybody else just because of where I'd been. So, and I knew, I can do those systems in my sleep. So anytime anybody had a question, they wouldn't go bother anybody else. They would come to me. And it kind of got to the point that I was basically training without a title. So anytime anybody new would come on, I basically would kind of show them the ropes and show them how to make everything happen. So I guess it was a mutual thing, when it came time that we were hiring a bunch of people and everybody was kind of going to need training at the same time, that there was no way I could really produce and train effectively on both sides. So my goal was to replace what I was doing. So, I needed to replace 80 items a month. That was, my average was going to run around 80 to 85. I needed to be able to replace that with, and it may take two people for a little while. I needed to be able to replace my production in order for that role to be effective. So that was probably about 6 months after I started. And I was doing that when I left. So I guess I kind of created it, but had some help along the way.
Nice.
That answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? What? So you created this. You had an awesome position. Now you're going more. What was the big drive? Because I think, okay, selfishly, I'm asking this question. So
it's okay.
As I'm growing, creating these roles and stuff from a retention standpoint, what would have kept you?
My biggest thing was, and I think everybody has their own ideas and own ways they want to do things and own, just their differences of opinion, I guess,
Sure.
would be a good thing. And I was to the point that, I was getting asked all the time to come to other agencies, like, come in my agency and train my staff, come to my agency. But that wasn't possible because I had 35 people I was responsible for. So I was not able to, I couldn't leave. And I knew if I could find somewhere remotely that I could work and that would allow me to kind of venture out a little too, and everybody was kind of on the same team and on board with it, that it would all work. So when it came time that I was to that point and I was ready to do that, it was either I was going to do that or I was just going to go buy an agency and do it for myself. So this presented itself and I was like, oh, I got the best of both worlds. So it was going to be really hard for me to travel and coach other teams on my own agency. Just because you need to be in there, especially for the first, 3 or 4 years, you kind of got to be hands-on a lot. That wasn't going to be an opportunity for me for a while. And I was like, okay, so I can do this for a while. And then if I want to go open up my own later, I still have that opportunity. So this opportunity presented itself and I jumped all over it.
Cool.
When we talk about accountability, what is your methodology for doing that? I mean, we have a lot of listeners, and then they are always asking how.
Right.
And I know that it's doing, right? Just do it, figure it out. But what specifically are you doing that's getting the results that you're getting?
So really and truly, I'm a very motivating person. I'm not going in there, cracking the whip going, you're not doing what I told you to do. That's not my style. Right. I am more, hey, look, I want to know what your goals are, because if I can figure out what you need to do in life, whether it's you're a single mom and you need to buy your first house, whether it's, you want to pay off some loans, whatever that is, I'm going to try to figure that out first. Because when I start trying to hold you accountable, I can remind you why I'm holding you accountable to that. Because you need to get from point A to point B, and you can't get there doing half the work. You've got to give it all you got. So, but really and truly, it comes down to activity more than anything, especially, on the sales side. So I know how many calls my girls need to make every single day in order to get where we need to get. So if we're at half of that at like 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm like, okay, look, we only got a few hours and we're not where we need to be. I'm like, okay, look, guys, I need this many calls in the next 30 minutes. I need this many calls in the next 30. And I'll kind of start breaking it down in small chunks. Yeah. So that I don't say, look, I need 500 calls in the next 4 hours. I'm like,
it's a little overwhelming. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It breaks it, but that's just like, when an agency owner says, okay, I need to grow 30,000 points in the next however many months, they don't get that. That's not they work on a day-to-day basis. So I break it down to the point that it's small chunks for them so that they can get to where they need to go along the way. And I don't make it I tell them all the time, I'm like, look, this is not about me. This is not about Eric. This is not about the agency. I need you to do this for yourself because you have stuff you want to do. And if I can get them to do it for them, everybody wins.
Mm-hmm. Find their driving force, then tie the activity to the result, give them the drive. I mean, it's a simple formula, but one that many agents putting out fires all day long don't end up getting down and doing this most important activity, right? As an agency owner or operations manager, This is the most important activity in addition to those phone calls.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would probably say consistency, right? You were doing that every day, all day, right?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I missed part of that.
You do that. You were doing that every day, all day, and you continue to do that all day, every day. So it's not something like, oh, this week they're into this, but trust me, it's not going to last long. I've been
right. No. And that was a struggle for me in the beginning. I'll be honest. It really took me a while to hold people accountable, because that was something that I was like, well, you should know what you're doing, and it was just like, why aren't you doing this? You know what you have to do. So I kind of had to get in the groove of holding people accountable and then getting consistent about it, so that I'm not doing something one day and then not doing it for 4 and then doing it again another day. So yeah, it's all day long. I'm reminding them of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're going to get there.
That's my biggest problem. I'm always everywhere, and it's like just getting on those consistent things. And when I do, and I get a process and I'm consistent, you see results. Right. But you jump on all these things and you're like, okay, I'm reviewing calls. And then next week you missed them.
That's why you have a me.
That's why you have a you.
That's right.
We need to do Stephanie Hamilton clones.
Yeah.
Only available on Insurance Dudes.
Yeah. I'll start making little me's.
Bobbleheads.
Shipping them out.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. What other nuggets, what other pieces of information do you think that agent, like seeing it from your side is so awesome, because you get to look at it from a non-objective view. Right? Is that right?
Not subjective. Or whatever.
Anyway.
Whatever we want to call it, it's fine.
Whatever. But we know what we're talking about.
From a different view, and you can see it from a different perspective. So what do you see? Like help me and Craig right now. Like what's your best advice for us?
Really and truly to say that again. Besides having me?
Anything without knowing anything about us.
Right. Not like I know nothing.
Yeah.
So really and truly, it's to delegate as many tasks as you can. That honestly, because and it's just like, I was talking about Eric. Like, he can't do it all. It's literally not possible. There's so many little things that get missed every single day just because there's not enough time and there's not enough use going around. So, if you can find people that can take things from you that you feel good about, that you trust them, but we're not going to have any balls dropped. We're not going to have any issues with, compliance or anything like that. That's probably the biggest thing, is because you start replicating things that you can do and take off of your plate to where you're working more on the business instead of in the business. And I never understood that when I owned my own agency. And that's probably why I'm sitting where I'm sitting today, is because I did not grasp that. I was like, no, I can't relinquish these things because nobody else is going to do it right. Right. It was more of a, it was a control thing. I didn't want to give any of that up. And and that was one thing when I came here. I was like, okay, look, you're going to start passing some of this. He's like, what do you want? I said, I want your emails. I want payroll. I want this. I want that. He's like, do you even need me here? No, not really. We're good. We're good. You can go. But that's the biggest thing for agency owners, I think, is find somebody that you can trust, that you can give this to, that listening to calls is a time sucker, really. And payroll can be a time sucker at times. Give those things away so that you can do more stuff that you need to do to help the agency grow.
Yeah, makes sense.
Stay at the strategic level. Yeah. Right? The agency owner should be up at the strategic level as, being the business owner, not the business operator. Right? You have somebody else down here working on the tactics that support that overall vision and strategies that, whatever they are.
I'm so glad I remembered this. There was a question so when we talked to Eric, he mentioned distracted 6,000 leads from his current book of business. And we went on through the cast because it went really well. So many great pieces of advice. And I never went back to it. I had it written down and everything. So it's way better to ask you because you did it.
Yeah.
How did you do that? How did you learn that? And the methodology behind that?
So one of the questions he asked me, and I guess I don't know if I was really interviewing or if I was already hired. I'm not really sure how all that worked. I mean, I was kind of like, yeah, I'll take the job. Do a professional interview. But here he comes. So I'm going to have to listen. He's going to have to listen to me tell this. So his first question to me was like, so are you going to make me start spending an extra $10,000 to $20,000 a month on leads? And I was like, no, why would I do that? And he said, well, I don't really want to do that. I was like, we're not doing that. I was like, dude, how many win backs do you have? And he was like, what? How do I run those? And I was like, oh, dear God. I was like, how many read quotes do you have? I was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, okay. So I mean, that's where we started. And we ended up coming, I think by the time we narrowed it all down, we probably got anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 getting duplicates out and, people that just junk that you don't want. But we probably ended up getting a good 3,000 to 4,000 out of there that, and we've actually written some in the last couple of weeks. So, just narrowing down processes and stuff that you can do stuff off your own book that, you don't learn in school. They don't teach you that stuff. You kind of have to figure stuff out on your own. So that stuff really helped.
So just taking the time to really dissect all of those reports that we always push aside. Mm-hmm. I don't think not many, if you want to be real, like not many agencies have a great win back process or quotes.
Yeah. But they work and they're free. I mean, you already got them. Why not work them?
And we have the technology. I mean, you export a list, you dump it in there and it starts doing it, right?
It's calling it for you. Why are you not going to call that?
How easy is it?
Yeah.
Instead of spending $15 on each of those dials.
Right.
Alienating data a lot or getting mad at us. But but it's true, right? Like if each of those 33,000, think of the cost at $15 per.
Yeah.
That's 45 grand in leads if I did the math right. I mean, crazy, right? Right there. And if we know from data how many times they've actually been worked, right? They probably called them 3 times at the most, right? When we know from Jason's data, 20 times. Why didn't we call them 20 times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you just create free leads. It's great. Free leads are good leads, right?
Yeah. As far as processes, do you find it more advantageous to mix those in with like an agent, the win backs, the requotes and all that stuff? Or do you find it more advantageous like, okay, now we're going to focus on win backs?
No, I mix them all in.
Mix them all in. And what, as far as scripts and the way you go into it, how would you approach a win back?
Okay, it's super easy. You're going to laugh when I tell you this. But so when they're calling, are you going to role play with me, Jason?
Sure.
Okay. So like the phone's ringing and you answer.
Hello?
Hey, this is Stephanie. How are you today?
Pretty good.
Good. Hey, I am calling from Eric Brown's Allstate agency. And you used to have your policies with us. We've had a lot change since you left. Do you still live at 123 Main Street?
Yeah, but you guys are way too expensive. I tried to call in and the phone, I went to voicemail. So I just ended up going to Geico.
Hey, I understand. Look, I understand completely. But look, I promise you a lot's changed. It won't take me about 15 minutes. I can have you a quote ready. And I promise you we're going to go over your coverages, make sure everything's good and that you are taken care of. Are you still driving that 2019 Range Rover?
Yeah. Are you going to give me a better price than you gave me? You guys are expensive. I'm paying half as much.
Hey, look, I understand price is important. It's important to everybody. But look, what's most important is what kind of coverage you have. So I'm going to make sure that you do not walk out of here today or that we don't get off the phone without going over what coverage you have and to make sure that you are taken care of. I don't want you calling me in 6 months when you've had a wreck saying, oh my God, I don't know if I have enough to pay for this. No, we're going to make sure you got enough to pay for it. So are you still driving that Range Rover?
Boom. There you go. And I think that's one of the
objections, Jason. I was like, dang, if he comes up with one more, like.
No, but listen, like I hear about everybody in different states and stuff. And I hate ever being negative. I never want to say like, but I'll tell you one thing, California, everybody's too busy for everything. It's all about price. So like ours is really at that point, because we do all that stuff, but it's like now it's a numbers game. We got to hit a lot more people because people are just, but those are the real objections that we get. And we get a lot of hang-ups and stuff like that. But
yeah. And we get, I mean, I'll be honest, you're going to get those anywhere. And you're probably right. California is one of those states. It's just a monster of its own. But you get a lot of those same objections every single state. It doesn't matter. It's just how you handle them. And then you do have to figure out, how many of these am I going to have to call to get a sale? Because you guys may have to call a lot more of those type people than we do. And you just kind of have to figure out your numbers and, I need to call X amount to be able to get a sale on a win back and start rolling with them.
Yep. No, that's it. I mean, that's what we've like I told Craig, it's about 15 to 20 calls right now that we're getting a sale on. And, our agents make like 300 calls a day and it's a lot, but it's the way that you equal the amount of other states. So it's like, you just figure out happen.
You kind of got to figure out your own numbers and figure out, what you got to do every day to get where you want to go. But once you figure that out and you start doing it, you're going to write what you need to write.
And I think when you role played right now, the key piece is everybody says assume the sale. Like you're constantly needing to assume. You kept you explained something, but you never asked, do you want the quote? Like nobody wants a quote. Nobody does.
No, I don't want a quote from you.
I don't
want to talk about insurance. I like it.
No. Do you want a root canal? No. No way. Take the focus off that, right? And Jason's over here focusing on price because that's what at the top of everybody's mind and what they're trained to in this world, right? Is it's about the price. I mean, that's what Geico says. It's what Progressive says. It's what they all try to tell us. And so you're just steering it back to coverage, right? If you little small wins every time that you say, look, we're going to get you the right coverage. I agree. The price is super important. However, we need to look at the coverages because that's even more important. When you have an accident and you've hit somebody and they're laying on the side of the road and are going to sue you, are you concerned about how much it costs? Or are you concerned that you have $1 million of protection?
Right.
That's most important at that moment.
Right. Well, we had one. Actually, I think it was the first of this week. They had actually gone to Progressive and they had slashed their coverages to state minimums. And so, and we got them back and gave them what they needed. So, it's, people don't understand when they go somewhere else and they're just getting a cheaper price. They don't really understand what's happening in that process because it's not explained to them. They signed the policy, they got what they got, and just hope to God they don't get in a wreck during the process.
Right. Yep. The cheapos are going to focus on the price because that's how they win, right?
That's right.
We're going to focus on the coverages because that's how our clients win.
Right.
And so that's where the fundamental difference is we actually care about their outcome, right? That they don't even know that they have. Their most important outcome is to have the right coverage. Right. At the end of the day, that's it. They don't know it. They think it's to have the best price. Yeah. But you did a great job.
Thanks.
And I've noticed too, like, tell me from both of you guys in your agencies, I've noticed that agents think that they've gone through the quote and they've built all the value and stuff. But like the next day or the day after, if you talk to them, it's like the client doesn't realize or they don't remember all that stuff. So you got to like resell them. So it's hard to like, for me, like we're conscious about it now in the office, but letting everyone know, listen, every time you get on the phone, you need to resell those benefits and coverages and everything as if they don't know, because chances are there's no way they memorize what you said.
Yeah.
But in the same way that Stephanie identified with the staff what the purpose is, and I think, she froze for a second, but in the same way you find out the purpose for the staff, right? You're diagnosing the staff's need. We diagnose their need, and then we're served. Like, the value doesn't matter if you serve that value and it's just some benefit, right? If it truly benefits them, where it's the coverages and, here's the accident or whatever, right? You uncover, you show them. A great line we heard somewhere was, if every time you hop in your car, imagine taking all your stuff, everything you own, all your bank accounts, everything, and sticking it in your trunk. And you're driving around with everything you own in your car, because if you hit somebody, you injure them, that can be taken. Now they're thinking about that, right? So we have to move them to that spot so we can give them the benefit. Otherwise, they do. You're right. They forget.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you give the best presentation, I still, like, dude, next week when all the crap's going on, the kid was, screaming in the morning, wife's mad at the dude, and the dude answers the phone. No way he's going to remember all the crap I told him.
Why always the wife's mad?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he be mad at her? Why did it have to be the other way around?
Thank God my wife doesn't listen to this. She's been brought up now a couple times.
Several times today.
We'll make sure she
get a fight. We're all good too. Oh, just gosh, again.
Yeah. How many times is that today? Like 3 or 4, probably. It's fine.
Probably, yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
You guys are such a good combination too, because you're here tactical. Eric's very strategic, and how does that interaction? Like, how often are you guys talking? Because you said he could go drink beer, or I know that isn't what he wants to do because he's pretty active in a lot of different things.
He's sitting here laughing.
Right. So how does
not beer? Sorry.
Poke your head in, Eric. Say hi.
He said, "Poke your head in. Say hi."
Hey, there he is. Look at that. Hey. Yeah. How does that work, and how much interaction is there?
Well, I mean, of course, there's been a lot more in the past 2 days because I've been here. But honestly, we probably talk 4 or 5 times a day. 3 or 4. Yeah. I mean, if we're not talking, somebody's texting the other one. And this is all new, I guess, really for both of us. So it's a newer process. As time goes on, we may not talk as much. We may talk more depending on what all's going on. But we actually talk quite a bit throughout the day. He always knows what I'm doing and what's going on, and like what I'm telling the girls, so that if I'm not in the office and I'm like, hey, can you run in there and, fix this or do that? Or if he's out of the office, I know where he's at. I know what's going on. That way, we're always kind of both on the same page, so that there's no disruption in anything.
Communication.
Do you document that? Do you have some sort of like strategy session to know like where to go and create clarity and all the fun stuff?
Yeah, I just gave you access to my calendar.
I was about to say, yeah, I kind of just have access to everything. I was like, hey, I need this, and this. Okay.
Nice.
And how easy is it now? It's 2019. You can give access to all these different things, and it's everybody's accessible at every moment.
You just got to be willing to do it. Honestly, if you're willing to do it, and you got somebody that you can trust, and that's got the agency's best interest at heart, and you're willing to do that, I don't know why you don't, because that can just free up so much more of your time for you to do other things that you need to be doing. So it makes life so much easier.
Yeah. Quick question. Did you create an exit plan? Like when you've changed roles?
Did I create an exit plan? From one agency to another?
Yeah, like because
in my mind, I kind of did, I guess.
No, I mean, because I'm thinking selfishly, like, okay, so I'm building this role, and you got to have somebody on deck you always got to have somebody on deck, right? They can replace a role or something like that. Is that something that was implemented, or is that something that, I don't know?
No, because I don't know how to say that. So no.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Which is something that's scary, right? If you have a Stephanie Hamilton who's doing it all for you, and then Stephanie Hamilton is no longer there, there's a big hole to plug, right? Like there's all of a sudden a lot of water coming in the boat, right? And how do you fix
Right.
that?
Yeah.
But I would
fix the boat from sinking.
Yeah, and I would also say this. I mean, that's a good thing to do. I mean, as you're delegating and all this stuff, I mean, creating processes and being able to, I mean, if it's written down, somebody can follow it, right? So it's like,
yeah. And that's one of the good things for agency owners to be aware of, though, is that, you kind of need to be on the same page with the people that are in your agency, especially if you're going to put them in a leadership role. Make sure that you're always talking to them. You always know what's going on. Because things like this do happen, and there is no exit strategy. You kind of have ideas, and then they start to transpire, and you figure out real quick that you can make it happen, and it's either a do or die kind of thing. You kind of have to jump on board, and if you don't support their ideas and you're not all on the same page, then things like that do happen, and there is an exit. So
yeah, but that's all business, and that's the way it's going to go, especially when you're successful and all that stuff. It's just gonna happen.
It happens. Yeah. Asking hard questions over here. He's asked the hard questions, Craig. You didn't warn me about that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just honestly, I'm just curious. Like, I love business in general. Like, I would probably say like business and processes are more interesting to me than insurance. Could you believe that?
I agree. Yeah.
And the execution of those processes, right? Like, just to see them through, and then what's not.
Yeah.
What is
testing?
Cool.
Insurance is not that interesting. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's got to have it, but I like to figure out how you can make it better. So I'm kind of with him on that.
Yeah. Well, until we started doing this, like I would tell people that, like, insurance is boring. Like,
it is boring.
What says that? Like, wait, it's
not exciting.
No, it's not. Nobody wants to talk about it.
No.
We're
all selling the same thing. We're just doing it a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
One agent was so funny. He always says that he's hawking snake oil. But he's joking, of course. You know what I mean? But like, he says, I'm a snake oil salesman.
Can you please message me his name, because he and I would probably get along great.
I love that stuff. I love it too, because I mean, I don't think that, but I mean, a lot of people do think that. It's fun to make fun of us because we're
all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Anything that you could think of that we should have asked that we missed?
No, I think Jason covered it all.
Oh, it's all Jason, huh?
I was about to go, oh Lord, my seat's getting like I'm about to start rocking back and forth. I'm gonna ask next.
When he gets tired, he just gets real. He's out here. Just.
I'm gonna request a list of questions next time and go, I need these prior to the Dudette conversation. Okay.
Oh. well, thank you, Stephanie Hamilton, for one of the few insurance Dudettes.
Dudettes.
Yep.
Dudette.
You're now the Queen Dudette right now.
I'll take that title. I'm gonna make Eric have me a sign made that says that.
We were trying to figure out what to call you.
Yeah, they were trying to figure out my title, so I'll take that. Yeah, I'm gonna have that in my email signature.
We got to get you a caricature.
Yeah, I need one of those.
Work on that. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. It was fun.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks,
we will see you on the next one.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Your Insurance Dudes podcast is sponsored by Agency Vault, an industry leader in agency coaching, hiring and retaining top talent, and sales training with the 7-step trusted advisor sales framework. Are you up for the challenge? For $99, you'll get 28 days of access and an opportunity to join our private platinum coaching group. For more information, navigate to www.agencyvault.com.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.